Now we're going to add the little balls. These decorations I use in many of the designs. Sometimes they're decorative, sometimes they're to add extra strength. Sometimes they're to cover messy solder joints where several joints join. On this one it is more a matter of just added appearance, just decorative. Sometimes there's enough solder from before where you put one of the balls that you won't need to add any, and sometimes you will. Again, the solder pick is great for this because it's very difficult to lay a solder chip alongside one of these little balls. See? Oops, there went one of the balls, but no problem. Just use the end of the solder pick to place it back where it belongs. And put solder into place, and that won't be moving anytime soon. Again, sometimes it takes more than one chip to make sure you have it anchored. Once you've pickled and rinsed it, just go over the balls to make sure they're firmly attached. Sometimes flux will make it seem like it's attached, but it isn't. Now, for our bail, I used a piece of patterned strip wire and just made a ring and put it through the upper part of the design. The patterned wire makes a nice touch to it. Again, solder pick, and it's in place and melted. We have basically finished the fabrication part of this project. Now we check the stone fit. You can take a Cratex or abrasive wheel in your Dremel or flex shaft and make the corners a little bit lower than the rest of the setting. This will make it easier to fold over the bezel onto the stone. As you can see here, we're using a prong pusher to rock back and forth on the stone. Now up at the top, because of where my balls and settings are, I can't get in with the prong pusher, so I'm using a graver. If you don't have gravers though, you could use a sturdy knife edge. It's often best to use fine bezel, which is softer than sterling. Now you'll see the corners are a little bit ragged, so again, out with the flex shaft and use the abrasive wheel. Be very, very careful at this stage, however, especially with softer stones like Larimar or turquoise, not to touch the stone with your abrasive wheel. You can damage the finish of the stone, and unless you have lapidary equipment, you're up a creek. I'm just smoothing out a few of the edges before taking it to polishing. Now you'll see here, I noticed the stone wasn't quite as tight as I'd like it from the back side. So I'm just rolling it slightly on the wood here, which will tighten it. Now it's ready for polishing and setting the other stone. You can see the setting is fairly tight. You may need to go in and clean up a bit more with sandpaper or abrasive discs before taking it to the polishing machine. I hope you've enjoyed this demo. Please feel free to email me with any questions.